All right. Welcome, everybody. We're back to this project that we've been working on. Yesterday, I was really tired. Well, okay, so I tried to do some stuff. Most of yesterday was just refactoring. I did like nothing relevant at all, which sounds like me. But okay, so today I'm really hoping that we can get through the tasks for user registration and test everything. Right now, I was in the process of making a new record struct called validation result, which is going to have a. Can I have a record read-only struct? I don't think so. This is immutable data, I think, automatically, so how do you think I do this? I think you can just use a primary constructor and say, like, well, the thing is, it doesn't like it when I use the primary constructors, because then the style cop hates me. Public string, or, well, okay, so it's a validation result T, right? And we're gonna have a public bool result, or success. As a get. Right, and then, yeah, we're gonna have a public T value get and a public string question mark error get. Now I think that means all I have to do is summarize what this is, so it can be made read-only. But then it wants me to do this. Public read-only record struct? Yeah, that's what it is. Now, my question is, like, what is the difference between a record struct and a read-only record struct when the record struct can also just have only getters? Compiler enforced. Okay, so it's forced, basically. So if you do it on accident, yeah, okay, fair enough. It's just more like a compiler thing, it seems. Which is reasonable, right? But yeah, so I wanted to do this because if you don't know, our validation, or validate method, or whatever it's called, returns a value tuple with 3 elements. And whenever I see that, I think it just looks ugly, so I just turn it into like some type of struct, usually. Record struct is the best to do for like, I mean, record class could also work, I guess, but I mean, both technically are viable things, right? I mean, we're not really comparing by value, but who gives a shit? Right. But yeah, so, for example, for success, gets the gets value indicating whether the validation method. Yeah, succeeded. Okay, value gets the return value of the validation function. Right, I kind of did this in, yeah, because I put all this into input helper now. So let me see. Yeah, succeed or not, and then convert input value. Gets the converted input value from the validation. After the validation. I think that's the best way to describe it, and then gets the error message validation. If the validation succeeded, equal to null, or will be null, something like that. The error message is null when God, like, oh, my eye hurts so much right now. I don't know why. Because, like, to be honest, today I've done, like, almost nothing. Like I worked on my school project for, like, like an hour. And then for the rest I just watched Markiplier for some reason. It wasn't even, like, that I was, like, committing to it or anything. It was just, like, yeah, why not? Because I had nothing to do, right? And now I'm here with a fucking sore left eye. And I don't know why. It's driving me a bit crazy. Yeah, thank you. I got 100 subs again, pretty much. I was at, like, 100 subs, like, I'd say, like, a month or two ago. But then because I became completely inactive, I guess people left, which is completely fair reasoning. Error message gets the error message of the validation. The error message is null when if the validation is succeeded, I guess. I'm not good at descriptions at all. Alright. Yeah, now what is this? What's that called again? Represents a the results returned by a validation function. Sure. The return type of the validator. Oh yeah. What to be converted to. Something like that. Yeah, I think that's the best. Because now what I can do is I can go to input logic, I guess. And then instead of doing this, I can just say Foundation result string. I can just say new. Wait, where? What? Wait, that's what? I didn't even know that was an actual fucking thing. Okay, let's rename this to something else then. I did not know that that was a built-in type. Thank you, Microsoft. But what would you call it though? Because it's like it's a success, it's a value, a converted value, and it's an error message. What would be a good name for a string validation function to use as the name for a read-only record struct? Yeah, validation result T is the industry standard. That's one. Yeah, but that's for the try banner. So they're saying like, okay, so it's try result. I don't like that. Kind of like checked, sort of. Checked T. I don't know, is that like a better name for it though? I don't know, it's like, it's hard to name this. When I do validation result T, it's using the wrong. Hold on, so using project.logic, no, project.data.dtos. Yeah, because I didn't define a constructor, I guess. No, wait, so bool, success, deval, and string error. Says that's a naming rule violation though. So I mean, I'd say that in that case, just a random constructor up here. Which is like public validation result. Bool, success, T value, string, error. Nope, that's not how you spell, you dumbass. This dot value equals val, and this dot error equals error. And then document it. Standard text. There we go. Yeah, something like that. That'd probably be the best. So, yeah, this is nothing in it, so we can now remove the validation. One, it's pretty basic stuff now. So like this. So func string t value yeah, because now I have to say using project.data.dtos because that will accept it. Rename check. Have you renamed it checked? Is check not constructible? Sure. It's not deconstructible, huh? If you just do record, you do checked t success val error is a dot deconstruct. I swear you can only deconstruct this. That's because of the read-only. Nope. And I don't know why that's being a dick. Sorry, it used to be deconstructible. I guess. Yeah, so this would be this is practically identical, so I can just Because then it would work. Returns a check T object. Result of the validation. Yeah, I think this is probably the best way to do it. I have to say input helper dot validate. Input helper dot validate. Here we go. Oh yeah, because this valid password still returns the wrong thing. That would be a checked string. New checked string. New checked string. Okay. So does that solve most of the things? Is it compilable? No, just double checking. Yeah, seems like it. Yep. Let's see here. The wrong type of password. Oh yeah, wait, 'cause that's here, so. Yeah, if I have this on silent mode, you do kind of see like Well, just sometimes you can see it like kind of like glitching out because of the clears that I'm doing. There's not really an easier way to do that, to be fair. Okay. So I think close all of them now. But that's like a pretty good start. Now I have the task thing open here. So we need to inherit from the login menu class. I know I've done that. I can just go into register menu. We inherit from the login menu. We have to override the set password, which is now get password. And you have to use the user launch exists valid password method. We already do that as well, but also use a different prompt. So instead of enter your password, it would be at least one capital letter and symbol. We do like \n. I think that's the best way to do it. Probably. You probably want to make this portion though, like I think it's better if I do this, followed by this. I think we're gonna have to start messing around with colors in string utils. Be public static string color is string str and then color. That would basically just be \u01b, then whatever it was. I'm gonna have to double check again what that was actually. I don't fully remember how to use X codes with and C codes in C#. I always type the $sign instead of C#. Okay, here we go. $38.2, $48.2. Yeah, so $38.2 followed by R, G, and B. hex to RGB, or oh, what they're doing is they're doing convert that to int32 and doing dot substring to like do that. Oh, I mean, that's a thing you could do, I guess. Never really thought of doing that. I honestly forget that that even exists. So we need a color enum. Might as well just do that in here. Color.cs namespace project. Dot. I mean, I would say it's dot data dot. Well, it's not really. Is it? Not transferring data. I would say this is part of the data models. There we go. Oh, and it's gonna complain. So boom. Then we're gonna need to have a public enum color. I'll say like red. Just okay. Hex code red. Oh yeah, I guess I should have known that, but okay. 0xff0000. Yeah, you can just do that. And I think with bit shifting, you're able to like do something about that. I'll leave it just red for now. I do have to document this though. So represents a color with an associated hexadecimal value. Color red. It's not that complicated. In RGB. Well, no, it's not RGB, just color red. Makes more sense anyway. So yeah. So going into here, just say like using project.data.data models, not data abstraction. There we go. So it's going to be 38.2, and we're going to get RGB. I guess we should do a private int r in g in b get RGB given I guess a color. Just like long value, yeah, long hex, I guess. How it works is you have to, so for R, okay, I'm just gonna say in R equals, or just int R equals hex bit shift 16, I believe. Oh yeah, it's the long. I mean, it can't really be. It's the value can never. Yeah, so like it's being int. Just an int is good enough, honestly. In G equals this is where it gets a bit complicated because I know that this is bit shift 16, I think. Like I've done this many times, but I always forget how it works. Okay. So the first one is you just mask it with the lowest byte possible. Yeah. So I think it's for the first one. It's actually R is hex and 0 or something. And then it's hex and 0 bit shift to the right by 8, so that it goes over to the next, because the first one is FF, right? You're extracting it so that it's so that's wherever it's the zero value, which would mean you're extracting all those away. Shame, I don't know if this works, but this is what I struggle with the most, to be fair. It's like all this bit shifting and like bit related data is always just hard to remember how this works. I want to see how this gets represented. So like I can just say like R in G in B equals get RGB. Color will work because I have to return int. In G and in B. It's R, G, and B, followed by the SDR, followed by backslash U001B. I don't know what it was anymore. 12M. We'll just 12M and see what happens. Just get rid of this so that it compiles, I guess. Is that really what the... Oh yeah, private static, because otherwise that won't work. Alright, this missing XML. Applies a color I'll call this set color. Xcode to a string. String to change the color of. Let's call it to a string. The returns a colored string with the RGB color specified. Something like that. Now in program, I want to just test it, just see if it even works. So without even doing this, I'm just gonna say console.write line hello in set color colored up. Yeah, sure. Red. See what that does. If it builds. Strange. Oh, because I didn't put M. I'm a dumbass. No, see, that doesn't work. I think that's what it was. But I don't really know why. Because I think there's some type of like thing there. Right now it's not printing how it should. Here, XF0. 0x0f. Hold on. Why is this so hard to figure out? Okay, 0xff. Yeah, so 0xff is 8 bytes. So So 0xFF is what you're looking for. Because that's, yeah, because this is 255. And that byte value all these UNs. Because in theory, that's with any type of byte related data, I think that's what you're meant to do. Am I missing something? Why am I such an idiot? Like, I've done this before, but why can't I do it again? Oh, you first. That's probably why. Because you first say hex bit shift 8 and bitwise and anyway, and then 0xFF. I think that's what it comes down to, because first you would have to obviously shift it before you do any other operation. Why the fuck is it not working? What if I put it backwards? BGR. Then it works. Oh, I just did it backwards. Okay, well, that's interesting. So for R, you should say hex bit shift 16 and 0xFF. And this should be this, and this should just be hex. And then change this back to RGB. So, okay, yeah, so that works. Now, why is that? Well, okay, so we're shifting 16 bits to the right. So, for example, you would have like 0xFF8ABB or something like that, right? We want to extract the FF, right? Which would mean, in theory, each one FF here is 8 bytes. So to extract this thing here, we're gonna have to move it over to the first one and then use the AND right here to mask it. So the thing here would give you the value of FF if we moved this thing all the way over to the right, right? So when we say bit shift 16, we're saying shift, 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 which makes these fall off, and you get something like this. And then it becomes every time that the ones overlap with the ones, it becomes 1, and if one of them falls off, it's 0, and if if one of them is 0 and the other one as well is 0, right? So that's kind of the inside working of that. It allows you to extract what R is, because you can get the binary value of that. You can then convert back into an int. And for G, it's the same thing. Again, FFAABB, except we want AA this time. So all you would need to do is bit shift by that. So then you get the AA gets extracted by 0xFF, because that would be the value that we're looking for. Unless I'm doing it backwards, which is also 100% possible. I'm terrible at explaining binary. And the other one, blue, is just what you already have. This is, in general, it's RR, GG, BB, right? So the BB here is already at the end, and therefore you can already mask it and get the value. That much I understand. It's just the bit masking that's hurting my head. But yeah, so we're taking the maximum. Oh yeah, no, I know why. Because 0xFF is only ones. So if you do a bitwise AND, you're searching for every single one that is equal to 1 in the whatever the shift value is. And that would give you a binary value that then gets converted into a uint, and that's your value of R, or the value of G, or the value of B. That's how it works. I always gotta refresh this shit in my brain because I always forget. It's like the most basic thing to do with binary, but I just always forget how it works. I mean, this isn't shit that you learn in the, like, your first year of computer science, but like, you know, I really go overkill with this sometimes, and I feel like I'm obligated to know this stuff, even though I'm not, because it's not relevant to the current material that we get. But it's just interesting, you know? But yeah, okay, so now that we have this, why do I have the common namespace? Okay, there we go. We have this now. We have a set color. So what I could do, register menu, is this dot set color dot red. However, easier to do this would be to just say something like that. Oh yeah, and I gotta reset this back to new start menu dot start or something, just new start menu, because it automatically activates start, and then easier way to do it is to do a double \n. Although I would personally say this should probably be bold rather than set color, you know, let's just do a bold one because that's more readable for me. It's public static string, bold. I mean, I can just, all of these you can theoretically, not bold T, just do like this object value, which is just going to be value dot toString, which is already done here, so you can just do this and do backslash u001b and 1m, and then backslash u001b 12m, I believe. Makes a string representation bold. The object to make bold turns a new string, a new bold string representation of the object. So I feel like that would make more sense than set color right now. I feel like that I would understand that better. To be fair, I think a string dot join would make more sense here. So have a join based on backslash n. We're going to have this, right? All right. No. Right, so there we go. No, it's not being ended, so that's probably what we need to do, yeah. So right now it still says invalid login credentials because it's still using that. Or confirm. Now, can I say base dot return otherwise if so basically what I did here, right? This here does that, and then it's is valid login, they do that, and otherwise set the user to that. The name would also have to have some more validation, I think, but whatever. And then, yeah, otherwise, say this dot user equals so what we would say is we would say user logic dot add new user. Best idea, I think, for user is to make an overload that does the same thing but with less parameters. Because you don't need a name, you don't need an ID. That's just for the constructor itself, or for Dapper. But scene string description. This one name password salt join date last scene description. And for that we can just basically just take this, reuse it. In fact, can you use inherit doc with this? No. Then we're just gonna do that. Honestly, much better idea at this rate. So that's gonna be a bit simpler. It'd be even easier if I just said it was daytime, because that's what you really need. Pretties, and you just say dot to string, and say specifically YYY MM DD HH MM SS. This would be last seen, right? I'll probably have some type of like daytime utils thing as well that just covers this, right? Like, you need a lot of utils files because it's just like it just makes your life easier. Oh wait, I forgot a comment there. Okay, yeah. So then you can just say in fact, you can even make an overload that does the same thing, but now just with a login data, just credentials, string salt, and then daytime join date, daytime last seen, string description. I'm just gonna do this using credentials.name, credentials.password, and then salt, join date, last seen, and description. So we do this, we can do that, and then document that, just the fucking same as this, except very slightly different. I know, very complicated. You might as well just copy paste it a million times. And then the only thing you change is this. Credentials. Then state the login credentials of the user, capitalized. Now you can just say just a login. Again, doesn't fully work because what we've saved here in this login needs to be converted. So like here, for example, you do this, say equals password, but I'd say equals data hasher dot hash password, followed by something. So first we have to create a salt. String salt equals data hasher dot get salt base 64, and then we can pass in salt, right? Because this is, yeah. Then it's fine. So again, yeah, we can just pass in the salt. The salt is a bit hard to do because we're defining it here, and it's not really part of the login credentials, I guess. I mean, I guess you can add it to the login credentials. I mean, that's not that hard to do. I can just say, hey, we're just adding a new one. Which is going to be public string salt get set. And then gets or sets the salt used to hash the password. Just keep that at null for now. Let's just say like this.salt equals salt, because that's going to exist. We're not always going to have to define the salt. So salt, and then we're just gonna make an overload of this so that the other one still technically works. This using that, yeah, something like that. It's just this, so reuse. I mean, there's also the builder pattern that I could theoretically use, or like, I don't know what's called. I think it's no, it's not the builder pattern. But it's like where you would have like it's the factory pattern. So where you have a factory that creates these so that you have more descriptive constructor overloads. Makes more sense that way. And then you make all these private and you just have like one that creates it. You could, depending on what you pass in. And yeah. That's a thing. Because then I don't have to specify salt because that's in the credentials. Time dot UTC now. Yeah, because we're going to store it in UTC. Speaking of in login, we would actually have to update that. Must be string not empty because it hasn't been defined yet. Okay, so I'm gonna say user equals new user. Boom, and then throw in a user, set it to user. Yeah, I think that works somewhat. Now we just have to remember that in the login menu then, we gotta do a similar thing. Alright. Yeah, so basically here, user.set last seen. I don't have that right now, but now what is user? It's a record. If I said public void set last seen, we'll just say last seen equals, but that won't work, I don't think, because it's a record. Oh no, maybe, who knows. To string, again, this is something that I think I should do in like daytime utils or something. We need to document this. Sends the property to the current UTC time. Of this instance. I guess you can do that. Okay, so that will set it to the current thing, and then we can say user logic dot update with user. Simple as that. Right. And maybe in our thing here, where's the input helper? We're gonna just make like a private helper method, I guess, private static void with a string error, and also a console color, which is going to be doing what I did here, except you specify the color, which is this. Then you can say print error. It's just simply print message error console color.red. And you can say the same thing for print success, which is then green. With green colors prints a success message. Just enter a key. Yep, there we go. Simple as that. So I can then say right here, print success. No, it still says error. Print success is fully created, registered the new account user. And this would take you, yeah, this won't take you anywhere, just set that. And I will do this as well, the login menu. Into the account user.name. Yeah, so I can just do this, and then it would work. All right. Oh yeah, and then in register menu, we obviously have to bring it to like this term. And then we can also state new no, not even this return, just keep it the way it is. No, yeah, it would be this return because otherwise things wouldn't go as they should. Right? And then you're brought back to the main menu again. Which, to be fair, that's this. So actually, you should just take it to the next thing. Yeah, just to the main menu. So this is the start menu. We're gonna take it to the main menu because you've logged in, right? Type in some random things. That's not the length of it, but that's because it's hashed. Yeah, it's because it's hashed. Okay, nothing's getting printed here. For some reason it's not running. Oh, but yeah, it's getting hashed right there, which honestly I think is fine. You just need to, you know what you need? In login data, you need I get a public string hash get set. Right, so it gets or sets the hash variant of the password. Yeah, this given salt. So I don't even need to pass in salt. It's pointless. We don't even need that extra overload. No, I mean, no, we do need the extra overload. We just don't need that extra property. There we go. That's all we need. So we don't save the salt. The salt is just used to hash it. Yeah, that would make more sense. Also need I-equatable icon, was just kind of here. I'm just going to get rid of these. Because I don't think I need them. This is good enough. Well, salt is still... We don't need this. So... User... Yeah, but we're not storing... No, because we know... Okay. We do need to store it. Because otherwise... You can't do that. So this dot salt equals salt. You actually probably want to do it backwards. So like, you want to do the smallest variant first. Right, so instead of this, we say this dot name equals name and this dot password and this dot hash. Yeah, because otherwise, yeah. I mean, do we really need this overload though? We don't really need it. I don't think we really need this overload. Because in theory, that's unnecessary. I think. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a kind of just a dumb idea to practice with programming. I don't know why making a Newgrounds playlist of all things. I'm just a fucking, you know, your average person that's just addicted to Geometry Dash. So I've just sunk up so much Newgrounds music that for some reason I thought this would be a funny idea as like a personal project. I mean, as a programmer, you just have to test out as many things as you can. If you think of something and it's really stupid, it doesn't matter. As long as you're doing something, you're learning. So, you gotta live with what you have. Anyway, does this fucking work? I don't know. Don't even know if it compiles. It does. Okay, that's fine. Oh, no, that didn't go right. Oh yeah, so you see that's the problem, right? If I do that, it's gonna try and convert it when it shouldn't. So there should also be an option to have the hash not exist yet. Right, so we would probably need another overload. Or at least something like this. Yeah, you need, like, I think a smaller overload. Like, not even an overload. This is just the original. Right. It just says this.name equals name. This.password equals password. Right, and then say this.hash equals default. This.salt equals default. Yeah, and then I'll do this stupid documentation again. Oh, why style cop? Okay. Just copy paste whatever this says. I'm just don't even set them, just let them be what they are. And then what you can do is you can say this, right? And you can just give a name and password. And then you can just remove this and do this. Extend functionality. That way it makes a little more sense. Yeah, because they're optional in this scenario. Possible no reference argument. Yeah, I'm just gonna set it to string.empty, I think, for salt. And keep hash as nullable. So like say salt equals string.empty. Makes more sense, I think. But yeah. So now I would compile, I think. Okay, so now it works just fine. Now it does, right now it does convert it whenever it passed in. It shouldn't do that anymore. I mean, it never did it here, but it did in here, right? So we're gonna have to change that to not hash it yet. Because I'm just scared, because like it's gonna be like stored. You need to dispose of this as fast as possible, right? That's why I'm like kind of hesitant with that. So we like something. See, now these, you can see the password is just that, and then must confirm do. Not null constraint failed. User.salt. Salt was null. Yeah, because I never set it. No, what I should do, I should just say this.login.salt equals. That would make more sense. You know, instead of, yeah. Yeah, something like that. And then for creating a user, instead of what it is right now in the thing, instead of password, say .hash. Right. And then .hash would obviously also have to be, instead of nullable, just set it as string.empty. Right? However, the hash isn't set yet, right? Which makes me think we don't even need to set the hash, because the hash you can just define yourself. You can just hash the password and say the password is now that, right? That would be a better idea. So then we don't need this at all. It's pointless. Well, no, it isn't pointless. You can add salt to it, but other than that, it's pretty useless. Yeah, and then the only thing you need to do is in the register menu, just make sure that when you're done with this, you say well, I mean, when you put in something, it's gonna be a valid password. So yeah, you can't just say data hasher dot hash pass and salt. And this login salt. There we go. Right? Because you can do that in this case. Is that gonna compile? It will. Again, type in like something. Now it's gonna be using that because it thinks that's what the password is. See, that's why I did it before, because you know it would be that. The password itself, you probably don't want it to be like that. You want to say that the password itself is this. And then here, you say, right here, if it's been confirmed, that would be here, right? So you would then say this.login.password equals data hasher dot hash this.login.password, I guess, and also this dot. Something I could probably just throw into the login object itself, can't I? Would make more sense, I think. So public void hash password, which would basically just be this.login.password, and just not just this.password equals this dot data hasher dot hash this dot password this dot salt. Sets the password property to a hashed variant of that password. So now we can just say this.login.set awry.hash password, and boom. So we just replace it so that it's being overridden, which is a lot safer in hindsight. So what would happen now? Yep, now it works. And then why is this failing still? Because user.salt is null for some reason. How is that null? I don't get that. Like, isn't that set in user? Like, we have a salt thing, right? String salt. What do you mean that the salt is failing? Because in theory, it's just generating some type of salt, right? What the fuck? Because the salt gets salt base 64, right? You just fill in the byte buffer, right? The byte array buffer. Give me a moment. Yeah, as you can see, clearly it exists, right? That much is evident. It's not null there. It's just whenever we do this.login, for some reason, why would that be though? Because it's credentials, right? So I set the salt thing. Is it in the wrong order? Maybe. So like, well, I don't have a thing for data source anyway. I should, but oh yeah. Yeah, no wonder. I don't. I haven't changed my thing around for data access. User access. This has changed. I just haven't updated the database itself. So let me just. To be fair, the easiest way is to just drop the table, and then to rerun the program. What? Okay. What is project.db now? Okay, didn't even create it. Are you okay? Oh yeah, that's probably because now it's also in the bin. Yeah, I forgot. That's how this works. Project.db. Is it even in here? What the fuck? Why is it not? Hold on. Where? Okay. Where are you making this connection to? Okay, because it's a memory DB. Well, if it's a memory DB, why is it happening? Why do I, okay, so if I execute it like normally, I just say like cd project.net run, right? Right, so this happens, right? I changed it, so it made a new thing, but it's saying salt was null. Well, where's this happening even? It's in the insert, yeah. Okay, let me try to print it, right? So say I had here I made this user, right? And I said console.writeLine user.salt and console.writeLine this the login.salt. Because then we can test both at the same time. Oh yeah, wrong thing. It's not null, so that's something else. That's not even like the user object. Oh, it's probably the answer query. That's why it's failing. Salt at salt. Okay, now we're good. Now it should work. I love it when I forget that I changed something in my SQL and then I have to figure it out like that. Not fun. So success reviews their new account Sean. Right? And then it should take you over to the next meeting automatically and say that you're already logged in. You don't have to log in again. It's really annoying if you have to do it like that. So, okay, what does that do in our database? Well, I can't see it because it's in debug mode, but... So, hold on. It's easier if you do it on the run, because then you can actually test it. Move this. So, again, type in some random ass shit. Did that. Check out the database. What did that do? One, Sean, and then you see the password is soltus. So that is exactly how it should be. Oh, why is this so far back? But yeah, alright, we figured that out, finally. Yeah, and then we would just have to send you over to the next menu. So, okay, let me check my tasks. So, yeah, use different parental overrides, original confirm to create an account and call the base implementation. Ignores verifying the account. That has now been done officially. Wow. Oh yeah, and I guess I should try logging in. So if I did this. Into the account, Sean. Cool, okay, it works. So let me update my thing here. So this says user registration. Edit, right, V, save. I can mark this as done now. And also tested, right? So I've also tested, although no unit tests have been made technically. but I should do that. I mean, any time you make input logic or you like actual logic, you should test it, obviously. But just been so busy with the actual implementation that I haven't had time for that. But yeah, that should be it. Anyway, I'm gonna take a break.